enough to get the job done. Momsy doing everything he can to delay. Momsy might have actually turned this one around. Momsy's got control of the build. Sends Sharks falling way back. Teeny doesn't have anything either, and Momsy with the shockwave plays.
They got the lion's share of the prize pool and are going to the championships, and there's been no movement going into game 8. These were the top 3 we had, and they managed to...
Drift de baiser. Skyjump. Arrête. Arrête Sky. Il récupère encore un kill. Arrête Sky. Nice. Top 2, allez. Allez Sky. Let's go.
Is going to Paris. And as you can see, Izzy and Nosif holding on. Skyjump and Momsy consistent all night. And Cringe
having to use those builds that they would have preferred to preserve for actually trying to control high ground later on. But Focus, Thomas, fact of the matter is, they're at least able to play this one out together. Pink or Riz. Another duo, box nearby. But they've got other plans. They want to get a move on. Want to take the opportunity, follow up on the rest of the lobby. They're heading directly towards the front side position, making sure they carve out all of these trees that could be blocking some of their lines of sight. Ju and Vidil also had the exact same strategy. Back of their heads here is now other teams beginning to make their move. Skyjump, Momsy, Focus, Thomas. Last one's in, Yapko, Panzer, but they might be some of the first to get eliminations there based on some of the aggression that was taking place.
Okay, Saya's scary. I see you. I see you up above. Let's see where this zone pulls. If it pulls east, back up the hill, it could be huge for them. But at the same time, if you look up in the sky, you don't want to celebrate too soon. I don't even want to try counting how many names I'm looking at right now. When you can take that freebie rotate, you can take that fizz pad, you're gonna do it. It's a reason why Sky and Scroll have been conserving so many mats in these late games.
Keep it simple for you, Takata. Half the lobby playing the launch pad. The other half of the lobby still feet on the ground, but that could change at a moment's notice because even those duos that are underneath where Sky Scroll are about to land, at least one of them's got to be holding on to a launch pad, looking to employ similar methods. It has been a very popular strategy, so expect to see plenty more duos catapulting themselves upwards. Momsy, Skyjump, they're hoping that they can just get a little bit of an escape here. Vidil and Ju, they've really done a great job at playing through the middle layers. So why mix it up if it's been working? Frontside control also firmly in their grasp, doing what they can to try and cut off other teams that might have had the same intentions here, but Focus Thomas trying to see if they can get ahead of the curve.
For duos like Focus and even Dexy too, both, you gotta keep in mind, I mean, they're using a lot of mats for these rotates. Focus Thomas had to kind of rush into zone. They had a little bit of trouble, and all these teams using the pads, they're gonna be incredibly healthy in terms of mats. And placements haven't even started to kick in yet. If you go down with 0 elims, that's a 0-point match. These players have to be cautious.
It's bound to happen to someone, though. These first couple of eliminations going to start trickling in, especially when we're looking at Pixie holding on to the RPGs on height. Still doing a great job to look upwards, but only having that gatekeeper and the rocket launcher, Takata, means that it is all going to be a low ground assault currently. Teeny, Shark, they're chilling in the skies. Vidil and Ju, though, forced to drop in that mid-ground territory to ultimate low temporarily. Going to elevate just one tile up, but first and foremost, looking back, they're going to need a refresh. Vidil needs builds. They're running out just way too quickly here. And Focus Thomas, they might be the cutoff point.
10th zone, 11th now. Placements just starting to kick in with just one more zone left after this. 29 players still up. Might be the most chaotic match we are about to witness. Swizzy Pixie still on height, but that's quickly going to change with Nosif and co building up. Vidil and Ju continuing to play low. They ran out of mats. 2 builds is all Vidil has. Not making use of that pad might be detrimental to them, and the battle for height, it's going to be Shark and Teeny overthrowing.
One more time, Shark and Teeny have managed to steal it away. Swizzy and Pixie forced to drop all the way down to low ground. What looked like it was going to be a promising endgame closure has now turned entirely into Shark and Teeny's favor. And for all those teams underneath, they're just looking a little bit too scuffed to actually have a real opportunity to try and challenge for height. Sky Scroll, they're gonna have to duke it out on the low ground instead. Fido gonna be the first knock that they find. Once they make it towards the body loop, that little bit of a refresh, the siphon materials could go a long way here, but Shark, he's fallen. Teeny gonna opt to drop now. He knows as a solo, he can't afford to try and hold on to height. Pixie, Swizzy have stolen their chain right back from Shark and Teeny.
They are back. They had height earlier on. There's a little bit of chaos in the mix, but they have crowned themselves once again as the high ground duo for this game 3. Dropping down, 20 builds left. And this duo as well has some. Swizzy with the aggression coming through. I did see a pad getting used, so they might have to be a little careful here, but so far pressure on below Izzy. This is exactly what he needed. Horns were not looking good going into this, but now they're racking them up. Thomas Focus down in the dirt. They want to have a big game here after the 0-point match they just came from.
But they're able to look back. They're playing that frontside ultimate low and just staying crouched, concealed. Nobody knows what's going on. Scroll won't get a chance to even get a glance. Instead, he's going to find himself on the other end of a shotgun. But Focus, Thomas, looking back. Skyjump immediately recognizes his mistake. But first and foremost, it's all about Focus clearing up these eliminations. He's lost Thomas, but that might not matter if he's able to continue connecting these shots. Still, high ground, too much of a problem.
Teeny has found him. Good news is he waited long enough to where his teammate actually got brought back, I think. Hopefully not beamed out of the sky.
Hard to tell some of the action that's sort of taking place here. Mumsy, Skyjump just constantly trying to threaten Pink and Haris. Going to be the one to shut down Pink. It's so hard to keep tabs on where everybody is at, especially when you got a player like Nemish and Darm hiding just behind you with the Mammoth Pistol.
Tough. Sky Scroll once again in the clouds alongside Shark Teeny, making that rotate come through. Curious to see if, you know, it's going to be the same amount of people as the day goes on, if more are going to start doing it, less are going to start doing it. I mean, it really depends where you are on the leaderboard, what you need to qualify. This time around, though, not as many players eluding the kind of pad rotate as last game.
The whole lobby is going to get involved. If players have the option to try and fizz pad up, they are going to take it every single day of the week. It is just too promising for helping them avoid, but poor Haris doesn't even get to factor in for the placement points. All that effort early on of escaping those early scrappy fights, just kind of fizzling out here is now the entirety of the lobby. It's just going to start sending it upwards. Nemish and Darm, though, more than content to just take over on the low ground. Just focus on the receiving end now of their aggression. And Nemish, Darm, Nemish even matching his former elimination points with the A-piece. And they are not looking to try and put a pause on this anytime soon. They want as many elims as they can get.
Whatever the finals elim record is, they're looking to break it in this match. 27 players still up. Thomas HD, despite being second place going into this, now left as a solo. Placement points just started to kick in. Nemish and Darm, they've had an unfortunate day, but one big game is more than enough. Almost already at 100 points. That was the cutoff to qualifying going into this game. Good news is they're already qualified, just like Swizzy and Pixie, who've overthrown high and have 6 rockets left in an RPG.
It might actually be working in Darm and Nemish's favor too, because the way that they're destroying builds from height just makes it all the easier for a team on low to try and take them out as Thomas trying to squirm around, but Yanis, Rax will make quick work picking up that elimination. Darm has fallen yet again though. Nemish just been keying out of his mind here today. 9 eliminations already, but finally going to be shut down as Shark and Teeny, one of the double trouble components in Shark's hands, is a fearsome sight, but what will he do next? 3 eliminations already. They've got to play catch up if they want to try and overcome where Swizzy and Pixie are currently out on the leaderboard. And it is a big ask when you're also having to deal with the likes of Yapko and Panzer now making their presence known on height.
Despite having qualified, they've been having a bit of trouble today. Yapko, Panzer, they can force height here. Could be the match they needed. Caspi, Vexy, nice little pickup. Second elim on the board now. They've been consistent, but not enough to be in that top 6 range. As Swizzy Pixie said, not so fast. This high ground is ours. Yapko left alone. Crack now as Swizzy gets back up. Greeted by his teammate as they're looking to close it out. Issue is running low on mats. Shark with a dangerous loadout. This is not something I'd want to face up against. Vito goes down. That's 6 for Shark and Teeny, and they're just getting started.
Just full control over this ultimate low ground. Now teams that are starting to try and break away from the pressure coming out of Swizzy and Pixie on height. But Deal, Ju, they might have a chop. Vexy could be dropped directly into their box. Instead, it's going to be Catchby and Vexy. Try and turn things around. Still a little bit further ahead, but Deal going to cut that med kit off, though. Immediately make their way forward. They need every little bit of material that they can find, but Ju gonna be dropped straight into Shark's hands. There is nowhere left to run here. It is exclusively down to Vidil to try and pick up whatever placement points he can find.
Hellfire now up above. They've overthrown Swizzy. He ran out of mats, goes down. This is big for Hellfire and Co. Another quick elimination possible onto Skyjump. Goes down for it, misses the shot. Good news is both players are up. Bad news, your teammate is now gone down. It's all up to you, Hellfire. Can you make it happen? It's Sky and Scroll up above. 4 duos left, 6 players. 0 mats left. Hellfire has to clutch it up.
And Hellfire delivers. Skyjump with the siphon just in the nick of time. Every little bit counts, though. 4 eliminations in total. Shark, Teeny, now trying to see exactly where he just continues to chip away at Izzy and Nusif. Big part of the reason why they're just struggling in this lobby.
Yeah, it's not good looks. On the contrary, Vito Dexy, 175 points, right above at top 6, currently sitting in 5th. And a great position as well. Zone pulls back, a bit of elevation. There's going to be no issue for this duo as they can just wait patiently.
Problem, though, is that Swizzy and Pixie are still rolling around in this lobby, and if there's one thing they've been doing excellently, it's just looking to try and commandeer height, and whenever they've been in control of it, those are the lobbies that we tend to see teams struggling to actually opt for that heal-off feature because they've been applying such consistent pressure. So if they're still left standing, by the time these zones start closing in, thinking more towards that 10th, 11th era, we might not necessarily be able to witness teams have the opportunity to play for the heal loss, but Janice, Rax, they're just looking to play their own life. Big knock here for Rax, but he needs the siphon to come through, and he doesn't get it in time. Janice, left to his own devices now, will have to try and figure out, is it worth going back for the body loop, but instead, he's going to send himself forward. He can't actually pick up any of the materials from his duo or even that other body off of Zarb, and Hellfire has fallen. Winter now left scrambling. Solos all across the board.
No elims on the board. This would be a 0-point game if Winter goes down now. He needs to clutch up here if they want to stay in qualifying range. Cannot afford to get eliminated. 200 wood. It's going to be 21 builds to work with. Going to have to use basically this whole Flowberry Fizz to just get half of his shield back. Darm Demish holding height. But in the meantime, a lot of players still in the clouds.
And we've seen what happens to those teams within the top 5 when they have that early departure with no placement points. Thinking back, Badil, Ju, Focus, Thomas, the way that they just rapidly fall outside of that qualifying range. But it also brings to the surface, brings to light Mumsy, Skyjump. Big opportunities here now to try and create a little bit of a gap. Really try and find themselves comfortably nestled into that leaderboard contention spot. But Demish, Darm, well aware of all these teams overhead. Swizzy, Pixie, they're gonna have to drop all the way through. Sky, Scroll, right after the fact. Everybody cutting those zips as quickly as possible. But Demish, Darm, a little bit of pressure now. Shark, Teeny, looking to challenge and take it out.
Both duos, nothing to lose as the fight continues. Shark and Teeny will be the ones that overthrow height. Are Darm and Demish gonna go back for it? Yes, they are. Shots getting connected onto Teeny. He's been fully cracked. Meanwhile, Fido Dexy down below in their own little battle here.
They're trying to find whatever nook of safety makes itself apparent. No builds left for Fido. It's all down to whether or not Dexy can come up. A huge shot call here. Maybe the duo just a little bit more scuffed than they are. provide them with that refresh. The Siphon materials will go a long ways here, but Mumsy, Skyjump, they'll opt to just continue playing through front side of zone. Pixie, Swizzy lurking about in these mid layers, just slightly elevated off that ultimate low. And it's going to provide them the opportunity now to look at maybe possible floor chomp from unsuspecting teams just directly overhead. Dexy has lost Fido though, and that means he'll be left to try and struggle through this one by his lonesome. Scroll dropping right in front of him though. That body loot could go a long ways.
Sharkantini back in business despite losing height. They are all healed up once again. And the contrary, Scroll on his knees lost his teammate, but the retake from Sharkantini, they're not gonna let it last long, as once again they're back above in control of height.
They're gonna Volcon Cringe towards front side zone. Momsy, Skyjump, they're gonna take out Ju. Vadil is also eliminated here. That is a tough blow for the leaderboard as Sky one more time, trying to run it back as a solo in this lobby. Shark and Teeny, rockets overhead. Rest of the lobby doing what they can, forced to drop just another layer or two. They can't afford to try and cut off the line of sight there from Shark and Teeny. Sky, ventling overhead. One more build left to his name, and he'll be forced to use it early on, as now Height refusing to let him budge. Volko and Cringe are gonna get the credit for it, and they'll be happy to claim those elimination points.
Exactly what they needed. Cringe now bumped himself up to 164 points, but he's got to make the solo clutch happen if he wants to put himself in qualifying range. But with the chaos unfolding, 2 HP to work with. Cringe, you got to make something happen here. Panzer knocking on his door. Will he be able to connect the shot? Does not take it yet as Swizzy goes down to Shark. 6 on the board already. They want to close this out. They're tired of the heal-offs. They know how to play aggressive. They're looking to finish it with an E-limit. Skyjump down below. Will he be able to connect? It's too difficult with the 1v2. Shark and Teeny close the match out, get that VR, and they show once again why they won.